Budget is a tricky question. We want to be profitable and not burn through our budget very quickly, but what should be the daily budget? We're going to go over a formula in this video that you can use to identify your daily budget on product launch when you have no sales data on your product. My name is Zane, I'm from SellerMetrics. We scale businesses profitably on Amazon through PPC. So I do have to give credit to Chris Rawlings from Sophie Society here for a lot of this knowledge in this video. Check out his channel, he's got great stuff. So advertising budget is largely determined by your target monthly revenue and of course how much money you can actually afford to spend on your campaigns. Now, the challenge on launch is that you don't actually know what your target monthly revenue is because you don't have any sales data on your product. So with that said, how do we establish a daily budget then? Well, we can make a decent estimate using the following numbers: average cost per click, aka CPC, estimated conversion rate, CVR, and target daily sales. Then we plug those numbers in this formula to identify the daily budget, and that is CPC divided by CVR times the target daily sales. So let's go through this individually on how to actually acquire these numbers, starting with cost per click. So because we have no sales data yet, the easiest place to actually start is Amazon's suggested bid for the keywords you input. The suggested bid is not the best information when you have relevant data, but at least it is a starting point. Okay, so let's go find the suggested bid as per Amazon's suggestions. Okay, so let's go to our campaign manager. So here we are, we go to the hamburger menu, go to advertising and campaign manager. Once you are here, you create campaign, you go to sponsored products. Okay, and then you pick the product that you were about to launch. So I'm going to pick my product, and then we're going to go pick manual targeting, and we're going to do keyword targeting. Okay, and here we are. Okay, so we have all these keywords that Amazon automatically suggests and their suggested bid. So what you want to do is pick the ones that are most similar to the ones that you want to use. So I'll pick watch box, which is my product. So I'll pick exact watch case, exact display case. No, that's actually from keyword research I've already done. That's not the keyword that I want for my product. It has a bunch of other products that it shows for that keyword. Watch case man, that's a good one. Watch organizer man, and yeah. So you guys get the idea. What we want to do is take the most relevant ones, pick a kind of a sample of them, and then here are the suggested bids. And basically all you want to do is average them out. And there you have it. There is a start. Now that's one way to find the average cost per click for your keywords. The other way is you can actually do it via Helium 10 and probably Jungle Scout as well, but I'm going to use Helium 10. So we log into your Helium 10 dashboard, and what we want to do is use the magnet tool. So here we go. So we go to the magnet tool, and then there's going to be two options here: find suggestions and analyze keywords. We're going to click analyze keywords, and you can add up to 200 keywords, but you go add from my list. And if you don't know how to do this, I will link a video that we've done last week in the end screen here of this video, and you can find out how we do keyword research. So anyways, you click the list that you created from your keyword research and you say analyze keywords, and you can do run new search. Okay, so all of these keywords that I added from my list are all the keywords that I did research on and the keywords that I intend to run campaigns for. Anyways, so it analyzes all of these keywords that I had already collected, and it gives you them down here. And as you can see, it has a suggested bid, and I organize it by suggested bid with the most expensive at the top and the least expensive at the bottom. And effectively all we want to do is take the mean or the median keyword cost here. I usually take the median, by the way. And ultimately what this resulted in is a keyword cost of roughly 77 cents. Okay. And again, this is just an estimate, and ultimately the best information will be what you receive from the data, the sales data that you actually get from actually running your listing and getting sales from your consumers. You do search term reports, and the dashboard that Amazon provides in Seller Central and their campaign manager will also give you far more informative data, but that obviously only comes after you're already selling. So let's move on to the conversion rate, which is the next piece of this formula. But if you do like this content, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Moving on, let's talk about conversion rate. So if you were to Google the average conversion rate on Amazon, you'll get numbers spread out everywhere. Some say 10 to 15%, some say 1 to 3%, some say 10% or less. And it can vary anywhere from in between or outside of those numbers that I just gave. But the Amazon community generally says that you can basically guess the conversion rate from anywhere between 5 to 15%. And then you use your best judgment on how well you think you can convert based on your product. But some guidelines to guess where your product will land on that general conversion rate of 5 to 15%, you can consider the following. 1, how differentiated is your product? Are you listing another standard product that a lot of others are selling with no differentiating feature? In that case, you can probably expect a lower conversion on launch because you are far more susceptible to the reviews and your price, as well as how much money you actually have to run PPC. Does your niche involve a lot of shopping around? So take, for example, shoes or apparel in general. Obviously, people like to shop around for that kind of stuff, and that can result in people not necessarily buying your product after the first click. And lastly, what is the price of your product? Is it a high price product? Because higher prices generally have lower conversion rates. They usually have a longer kind of sales decision process for the consumer. So if it's a higher price, it's going to take longer to convert. If it's a lower price product, it might convert a little bit better per click. Okay. Because I'm a new product, I would guess on the lower end of conversion because there isn't too much proof for my product and my product design. And there isn't so much shopping around for my product. So that kind of raises the conversion rate a little bit. But on the kind of more conservative scale, as far as price goes, I am on the higher end of the mid tier, but I'm going to launch at a lower end of the mid tier. And so on a conservative end, I'm going to kind of put myself in the middle of that 5 to 15% conversion rate, a little bit to the lower end. So I'm going to guess 8%. Okay. So we have our estimated cost per click, which is 77 cents, and our estimated conversion rate, which is 8%. Now let's move on to the target daily sales. Target daily sales. We want to rank for page 1 because in the long term, that's going to give us the best bang for our buck, because when we get organic sales, there is no advertising cost associated and it's mostly profit minus the cost of goods, of course. So let's go to Amazon.com and we have to look at how many sales we need to make to actually land on page 1 for organic searches. So what we want to do is type in your root keyword that you're running your ranking campaigns for. And then what we want to do is at the top right, we want to click the Helium 10 extension. And once it's stopped being grayed out, we want to grab X-Ray Amazon product research. So we'll click that now. Cool. Once this is loaded, what we want to do is get rid of the sponsored products because we only want to consider the organic products. And then at the top, what we want to do is recent purchases. All right. So what we want to do is basically take the top 10 products based on their recent purchases and average out the sales data here. Now, keep in mind, recent purchases are data over the past 30 days, and we want to extrapolate from that the estimated daily sales, right? And I'm going to sum up all of the top 10. I'm actually going to exclude the top 2, 1,000, 1,000. The reason is because they're so far above the rest that they're kind of outliers and they're going to skew the data a little bit. So excluding these, I'm going to sum up 600 all the way down to the next 10, which is roughly here. And what that gives us is an average of 330 sales over 30 days for the top 10 products. Divide that by 30 and we get the estimated daily sales at about 11. Okay. So now we have the target daily sales of 11 to be able to rank on the first page. So going over the numbers again, right? We have a cost per click of 77 cents. We have a conversion rate of 8% that is estimated based off of kind of loosely guessed based on the average conversion rate and my pricing, my positioning, and the market habits of my niche. And we have the target daily sales of 11. So let's plug that into the formula. CPC divided by CVR times the daily sales. That's 77 cents divided by 8% times 11, which gives us roughly $105.87 per day. So this is what I would need to run on a daily budget to rank for the first page if that is my goal. Now, does your account actually have that budget? If not, I suggest reducing the target daily sales. Keep in mind that you will also have to change expectations if you reduce the target daily sales. Meaning, if you spend less on advertising, you will likely get lower sales per day and thus your ranking to the first page will slow down. It's also important to note that this is the budget across all of your campaigns. In a previous video, we talked about the 4 different types of campaigns you can run on launch, and they are as follows. 1, ranking campaigns. Goal is to get to the first page. 2, research campaigns. These are to find new keywords that might be profitable for you and your product in your niche. 3, selling campaigns, which as it sounds, the whole purpose of these campaigns is to drive sales. And 4, brand defense campaigns. This is to protect your product from your competitors. Your allocation of your daily budget is dependent on your goal. If you want to rank high and quickly, put 50% or more into your ranking campaigns. If you are okay with ranking a bit slowly and want to drive more sales, put 50% or more into selling campaigns. Okay. Now keep in mind that 50 is fairly arbitrary. At the end of the day, you have to look at your campaigns and their performance daily and adjust appropriately. If you find that your keyword targeting campaigns for your ranking campaigns are actually also resulting in better sales than your selling campaigns, which target other competitor products, then obviously if your goal is to drive more sales, what you want to do is reallocate the budget to more towards those keyword targeting campaigns. And that's all about optimizing, which of course I will obviously have videos for in the future as I release my product. Now, all that is left is to set up the campaigns. I will do that in the next video, guys, in the future. I don't want to make these videos too long. Next video is going to be all about the actual specific bids that you run. For example, always bidding down versus top and down bidding and so on and so forth versus fixed bids. But for now, I hope that was helpful. If you want to learn more about PPC, how to run them, what kind of campaigns and how to structure them, check out this book that we have here, Ultimate Guide to Amazon Ads. In this book, we talk about the structure of campaigns, everything we just discussed already, how to optimize them, and far more than that as well. It goes through everything, right? And you can get it for free. But until next time, happy selling. Take care.